Thanks for joining me at Chase to Health. I'm your host, Chase. Someone on the Minnesota Raw Vegan group was asking about staying warm on a raw vegan diet. So in our natural tropical environment, it would be really good to stay cooler because it's hot out. And one of our advantages of being a Homo sapiens, we lost our hair so that we could run longer distances without overheating. Whereas like a chimpanzee can only run for maybe 15 seconds before it overheats and has to stop. So staying cooler would have been an advantage. When you're in Minnesota, just a couple days ago, it was like negative, 4 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not Celsius. I had to explain that to people in Costa Rica. They didn't understand what Fahrenheit was. No, it's not below 0 Celsius, it's below Fahrenheit. I thought I'd go through some of the things I've found that could be helpful to stay warm in the winter on a raw vegan diet. It's really easy when you're in the tropics to do this diet. Some people have a harder time in the winter. Okay, so right off the bat, some things that come to mind here. Grow a beard. I decided that I'm not gonna shave until it warms up a little bit. Okay, that's something you can do. Put on a sweater. Put on a robe, put your hair down, okay? That's like, and you can tie it around, it's like a scarf. The other thing you can do is you can start your day off with some warm water and you can drink it throughout the day, if that helps. Oh yeah. The other thing you can do is just make sure that you just take your food out of the fridge. I usually eat most of my food room temperature. Sometimes I got blueberries and stuff. Obviously I keep in the fridge, I keep citrus in the fridge. But I usually like to, even in the summer, I like to let it warm up to room temperature. I just don't like the way cold food is. Now, banana ice cream, that's different. That's gotta be cold, right? So yeah, make sure that if you're having trouble staying warm, don't eat cold food. You can, I got the idea from this guy on John Kohler's channel talking about how you could slow cook foods under 110 degrees, so it's still raw, but you do it for like hours. So you get a hot plate, like one of these. When I got back from Costa Rica, there was no ripe bananas. I was going to like 5 different grocery stores trying to get ripe bananas, but there was ripe plantains. So I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll use this method with these plantains. And it was pretty good. If you get a hot plate or an induction cooker, maybe just check with a thermometer because you want to be sure that you're not eating anything that's cooked over 115 degrees. I set it to 110 and it was actually around 114, which is still pretty good. Yeah, I just heated them for 6 hours. You can eat plantains raw anyway, but just something you can do. You can get a hot plate, heat up soups or starchy vegetables for a long period of time. Plantains are probably the best because it's still a fruit. I feel like potatoes, if you're craving that, maybe try that. But you can do it with yams and sweet potatoes and squash. I've never tried that, but yeah, you could try that. Probably the best thing you could do for yourself if you're not an athlete is just eat a couple times a day in like a 4 to 6 hour window or something like that. But if you're having trouble staying warm in the winter, maybe eat more frequently through the day. Try to keep your metabolism higher. That might keep your body heat higher. Just be careful when you're on a raw diet. You can damage your teeth if you're grazing all throughout the day. If you want to do this approach, I would not eat dried fruit all throughout the day. That's going to be terrible for your teeth. If it's like high water content fruits, probably not as bad. The dried fruits will stick to your teeth. So that's something you can try. Just eat more frequently throughout the day. So one of the problem nutrients that can come up on this diet is low iodine, especially if you live where I live in the goiter belt, the Midwest. There's not a lot of iodine in the soil here. So if you have too low iodine levels, it can affect your hormones and your thyroid gland. That can make you feel colder. So it's something to check into. The other thing you can do is you can take a warm shower. This is always a guilty pleasure of mine. I definitely like to take, like when I'm feeling it, I want to take a hot shower. So you can do this to warm up. It's a good way to do it. Just make sure that you always finish with a cold shower. I always finish with a cold shower. A hot shower is going to open up your pores. A cold shower will close them back up. It'll tell your body to hold the heat in. I do a lot of cold exposure and stuff. I got into the Wim Hof method. So even if I take a warm shower, if I'm feeling cold, I always finish with a cold shower. At least 30 seconds. I try to do a couple minutes or 5 minutes or something like that, but I just don't always have time. So that's something you can do. The other thing that I really like to do, I have to turn my water heater up all the way, which is kind of dangerous. I gotta make sure I turn it back down. but I have a smaller water heater. To fill my bathtub, I gotta turn it up to 160. But I like my bathtub at like 110 degrees. That's about as hot as I found. I put a thermometer in there. That's as hot as I can take it without feeling like I have to get out because I'm burning. So interestingly enough, that's the same temperature that I decided to heat my plantains at, because if I can put my hand in the water and hold it there for, a minute, then it's probably not damaging the plantains. A hot bath is a great thing to do if you're really struggling. I rarely do it, but sometimes it's nice. If you have a jacuzzi, hey, jacuzzis are good. Just know that they are kind of nasty. Ideally, people would take a shower before they get into the jacuzzi. I don't think that happens very often. And depending on how well people clean themselves after they go to the bathroom, if you got 5 or 6 dudes in a jacuzzi that didn't shower before, well, you do the math. All right, so hot bath or jacuzzi. When you're making a smoothie, now I don't make a lot of smoothies. If I don't have time and I gotta leave quickly, rather than eating a meal of bananas, I can throw, 10 or 12 bananas in a smoothie and blend it up and eat those so much quicker. Ideally, I usually put some frozen fruit in my smoothie with room temperature fruit, because I want to make sure that it doesn't get too hot. I do use a vacuum blender, but there's the heating element too that is going to degrade the nutrients. So you want to make sure you don't cook it. Like my Vitamix will actually, you can make soup in the Vitamix just by like letting it go for 6 minutes because it gets so hot. So one of the things you can do is you can just put less of your frozen fruit in. So I like to put frozen blueberries with my bananas. So I might just put less in, especially if I want to drink it right then. Or you can blend it for a little longer and it will heat up a little bit more. If you're someone that likes banana ice cream, just maybe wait till it warms up. Or eat it while you're in the bathtub. Put your show on, light some candles, get some carob powder and maca and whatever fun stuff you like to put in your banana and ice cream. So the other thing I'd recommend, if you're not into the cold therapy thing and running outside like I am, I like to run outside in the winter, especially when in February in Minnesota, you can actually start making vitamin D in your skin again. There's a period in Minnesota actually from November through January where you can't make vitamin D. So when I can, I'll get out and I'll do a barefoot run in my shorts. And a lot of people think I'm crazy, but I think just like pulling off the Band-Aid and just roughing it like that. Then when you come inside, you're like, wow, I feel warm. So I'd recommend getting into cold therapy. Just start doing cold showers. It's gonna make your body make brown fat, which actually generates more heat. But if you don't want to run outside, I totally get it. Get a gym membership. Doing cardio is going to make you feel warmer. Building muscle. The more muscle you have, the more heat you're going to generate. I'm not saying you should be a bodybuilder, but it's actually hard to build muscle, okay? People are afraid when they lift weights, they're going to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. No. He had to that was his life, was lifting weights, okay? So the more muscle you have, the more heat your body's going to make. Muscles just generate heat even when you're not doing anything. Okay, so get a gym membership, start doing cardio and lifting weights at the gym. If you don't want to get a gym membership, you can do jumping jacks at home and you get weights, or you can just do push-ups and maybe you have a ledge, you can do pull-ups, but you should be doing some strength exercising and some cardio. I personally like to do it every day, at least cardio, but I got to delve deeper into exercise because there's a lot of conflicting information. I personally feel the best when I do cardio every day. Not only physically, but like spiritually and mentally, emotionally, I never feel better than when I've gotten cardio. And then strength training, obviously you just don't want to overwork the same muscle groups without letting them heal. The other thing that you can try is just wearing your clothes right out of the dryer. That could be a nice thing to try. And my parents actually, they have a infrared sauna, which is kind of nice. So if you have a sauna, you could do that. The only thing about saunas is that you sweat a lot, and a lot of people think that you sweat out the toxins. You don't really sweat a lot of toxins out. If you're like a really toxic person, there's gonna be more toxins in your sweat, just because there's more toxins ratio-wise like in your body fluid. But your body uses mainly your liver and your kidneys to get rid of toxins in your body. So sweating for the sake of sweating, I don't think is healthy. I do think there is some scientific evidence that shows that extreme cold and extreme heat can actually increase your longevity. So if you want to do a sauna, just make sure that you're drinking water the whole time. I'd sip water the whole time you're in there. Drink water before. Make sure you're eating plenty of juicy fruits before and after. And then finally, the thing that you could try, I do hot yoga. There's a yoga place called Core Power. It's the closest place to where I live. I like to work out as close as possible to my home, save time. But sometimes I wonder if like it'd be better to not do hot yoga, because like by halfway through I feel like I start getting dehydrated because I'm sweating so much. So if you do hot yoga, I would be drinking water the whole time. Anytime you're sweating, you're kind of dehydrating yourself, so I would just keep that in mind. So there it is. There's my tips. If you have any additional tips, please leave them in the comments. These are all the ones I could think of. Let's see. I got the Robe. Finally, just you could turn up your heat in your house. I know it's expensive, but if turning up your heat a couple degrees is gonna make or break you sticking to this diet and feeling amazing, it might be worth it. But it's a lot cheaper just to put on a sweater and a robe. Like, I'm pretty warm. All right, thanks for watching, guys. If there's something that I didn't cover in here that helps keep you warm on a raw vegan diet in the winter, please share it in the comments. If there's another topic you want me to make a video about, please put it in the comments. I'm happy to take suggestions. I'm gonna get started here. I'm a very busy person, but I want to make these videos. I've got tons of videos coming out, so please subscribe for more future videos. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. All right, guys, thanks. Stay warm.